Hey, it's Bruce Feldman. Pleased to be joined by really one of the breakout stars in college football, Cal freshman running back Jaydn Ott, coming off like a huge game last week against Arizona, almost 300 yards on the ground. Jaydn, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So for people who maybe don't know much about you, even though you've been Pac-12 Freshman of the Week 3 times of the 4 games you've played, you're making it look easy. I mean, why have you been able to hit the ground running so well since you got to Cal?
Honestly, all the credit goes to my line. They've been opening up those big holes for me to run through, and so if it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't be doing anything right now.
You had 2 runs last week over 70 yards apiece. What is it like when after you have the first one and then you're just it almost looks like a track meet out there? Is it a little bit surreal to have that kind of game this early in your career?
Yeah, I will use that word surreal, because I've always dreamed of being in this position, and taking it even further. And so it's a surreal feeling, finally being here and doing what I've dreamt of doing for so long.
Let me ask you, what is going through your mind as you have it's basically a race to the goal line. You have open space. I know you did track for a year in high school, so you have legit speed, but is it a question of like what are you thinking about as you're sprinting towards the goal line? You know guys are coming after you.
Um, I'm just thinking when I see the end zone and I don't see anybody in front of me, I'm just thinking, don't get tripped up. I just know I'm gonna make it to the end zone. So
Is it anything you're telling yourself to try to hit the gas even faster or anything that's going through your mind? Just things you learned track wise, anything?
I try to relax. A lot of people will tense up when um when it's time to go up like for an all out sprint. So I like to make sure I'm relaxed and not tensed up.
What has changed for you since last week when you rushed for almost 300 yards, like you did last week on that stage?
Nothing really. We're back in the lab, watching film, preparing for Washington State, and so yeah, just same old stuff.
Have you heard from a lot of different people from reaching out just because it's been such a breakout month for you?
Yeah, definitely. Family, friends are all reaching out, showing their support, and so I appreciate them for that.
For people who don't know your story, you're a Southern California kid, but you did spend 2 years at Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas as a powerhouse program. What was your path like to Cal? I know we talked a little before we came on where it was like Cal and Oregon State were really the battle at the end. What was the recruiting process like for you?
Um, well, yeah, I mean, first I started out my freshman year committed to Oregon, um, and then ended up decommitting there uh, so that I could, see everything that was to offer from other schools. Now that offers starting to pour in, and then I took my first visit here to Cal and ended up committing because I loved it so much, and then um, I ended up decommitting so that I could take trips elsewhere, just to see what else they had to offer. And then by the time I had completed my 5 trips, it was like, okay, I knew I had made the right decision in the first place.
What was it about Cal that really clicked for you?
Um, I like their I like their education. That's real big on to me because my parents uh raised me to, take school seriously and do well with my academics. And so that was something that, attracted me to Cal. And I just see I just saw that they were in a rebuilding process, and it was just something that I wanted to be a part of.
Cal has a really good tradition of running backs. Now, obviously, we know Aaron Rodgers went there. There's been a lot, Jared Goff. There's certainly been a bunch of big time quarterbacks, but Marshawn Lynch,
Mhm.
certainly Javid Best was a home run hitter, just like it looks like you are. You already got a nice shout out from Shane Vereen, who was a terrific running back there. Said you even better than him. Have you had any kind of connections to this pedigree of running backs that Cal has?
Me and Javid follow each other on social media. I think we've chatted a couple times. CJ Anderson actually recruited me, and then left before I came here. So I still talk to him. You know, he checks in on me, and um, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's cool. I didn't know Shane Green shouted me out.
Yeah, I guess it was last week. I mean, look, you had everybody buzzing with those. It's one thing to have one huge run. It's another thing to have two in the same game, especially against a conference opponent.
Mhm.
That got a lot of people's attention. Who did you grow up kind of maybe patterning your skills after, or anybody who just kind of said, "All right, that's what I would like to put it on the field like."
The first two running backs I grew up admiring were Barry Sanders and Walter Payton. And then as I got a little bit older and then started getting on like YouTube and stuff, it was Adrian Peterson.
Those are big physical running backs, right? Even if there's certainly bigger running backs than Walter Payton, but it didn't seem like anybody could run any harder or be tougher to bring down. Are those things you still watch to this day to watch just for inspiration?
Yeah, most definitely. I try to watch a lot of the new guys too, who are in the league right now, but those are always my go-tos, Adrian, Walter, and Barry.
Will you watch them like right before you play just for kind of just a jolt of inspiration?
Yeah, I do. Like this past week, I watched some Adrian Peterson before the game, like the night before the game.
Are you watching it for like 10 minutes, or is it just like a highlight reel series of runs, or?
Like I'll go on YouTube and watch their highlights. Another thing that I admired about Adrian Peterson, Walter Payton, and Barry Sanders was not just their abilities on the field, but how they were able to put their family into a better position to succeed in life. So that's why that's what drives me.
Yeah, if you look at what you've been able to do, what kind of goals do you have for the rest of the season?
Um, goals for the rest of the season, I'm just gonna do my part and be do what my team needs me to do, and whatever comes with that, whatever accolades or awards, that's cool and all, but you know, it's a team sport.
How often have people misspelled your name over the time?
Ah, I hate
Those five
I
letters.
hate that. I hate when people misspell my name wrong, but they're starting to get better at it. It's Jaydn.
Is it, you take a little special pride that it has a unique twist to it?
Yeah, I do, and when people spell my name wrong, it's kind of upsetting because yeah, yeah, I
You
do
just
take pride in.
a little disrespectful then.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you, I've seen a little bit where you definitely sound like you're really proud, especially of your dad's heritage. What does that do for you? Obviously, there's been a lot of great Polynesian players. I know that you were honored as such in football, a couple of I guess in the All-Star game.
Mhm.
For you, how much has that kind of helped drive you in its own way?
That means a lot, coming from a Black and Samoan family, uh, football is like a big factor in both of those cultures, and so, you know, um, my I grew up with a lot of support from my grandparents on my dad's side, and they're still my biggest fans to this day, and my aunties and uncles, and so uh, yeah, it's just traditional to want to do well in whatever we do, and I take pride in that.
Do you have any other relatives who've played either professionally or in college?
Yeah, I got my cousin DJ Uyunglele, and then Solomon Tuliaupupu at USC. Um, yeah, I've had a lot of relatives playing college football, but those are just some of the two that are playing right now.
Yeah, I believe DJ has a younger brother who's a big recruit now too. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's quite a legacy. All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck. You guys have to go to the Palouse this weekend, a game on Pac-12 Network.
Mhm.
I always hear that is a very challenging road game, and I'm sure you'll be ready to go.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
all right. Well, best of luck. You keep up the great work. Take
All
care.
right. Thank you, Bruce.
All right. Thanks, Jaden.